sight this is to have everyone on the stage. Can we just give a round of applause for all of the panelists who have agreed to come have an open talk and a discussion about everything that is happening within the industry. So something we thought, okay, we will discuss and we will see how and where our whole AV industry is headed. So there are a few things that I would want to just talk to the manufacturer, talk to the consultant, and talk to the, say, the integrator per se. So let me start with the manufacturer. So this is basically for Andrea or Anthony, anyone who would like to start first. And so I just wanted to start into what's going to happen next. So the first thing is, so what are the emerging technologies that you think which is going to shape our industry for the next 10 years as a manufacturer? So this is where it's going to start, and we are going to talk about the future, present, and the past. So I think Anthony has picked up his favorite mic, so I'll leave it to Anthony.
You don't want the microphone? Okay. So what's going to be the next big thing is basically the question, yeah?
Yep. Yes.
Well, the obvious answer, according to every marketing person around the world, is AI, because that's all they talk about right now. No offense to the marketing people, by the way. In the past, it was machine learning, and now it's AI. I don't know if it's a massive change, or is it more just the hype, and it's then how are we going to use existing technologies and use them better and more efficiently, rather than it's necessarily something new. There are certainly, and I have to say it that way because I'm biased, Shaw is a company who will be 100 next year, so we've been around for a while. So we'd like to think there is a bit of benefit from that longevity. Whereas it could be a startup who comes out tomorrow with the latest AI enhancements and audio technology, and they use DSP, and suddenly it doesn't matter what you're talking into, it's suddenly going to sound better. We, again, we're biased, believe there is an inherent value in the quality of what takes the audio into the chain initially, and then it's how we use those things afterwards. So I'm sorry to disappoint you. I don't think there's going to be a huge, massive change in the audio itself. I think within the industry, there's certainly going to be some consolidation. There are companies who have been around for decades and decades who are sort of merging and things like that. There's far more of this interaction between different manufacturers, sometimes led by the distributors and the channel, bringing people like us together and showing the overall solution. But I don't, Andrea will tell me now I'm completely wrong, and in the world of speakers it's all different, but you know, I'd like to hear what he has to say. But I don't think it's going to be a huge change. It's going to be more of a evolution as opposed to a revolution, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Yep, I agree. I was a little scared when you started with AI because I work for a company that is a bit conservative, I would say, in this regard. And my answer would start with creativity. I think, especially in one of the sectors I look after the most, is giving creative people easier tools to operate. I've been seen in kind of a split between the engineering department and the creative people in projects. And what can change now, what I'm working at least towards, is an easier communication between the two parts. So tools that can be used in a simpler way, that are more accessible, that can actually bring to reality ideas in a faster way. But I don't see I think that some major changes already happened. We talk about networking, we talk about efficiency. In a way or another, the slow journey to go green, but we are all trying with all the difficulties of a case. But I think that the next big thing is making the tools accessible to enhance creativity.
Thank you, Andrea. Thank you, Anthony. So that's a great start, because what we are looking into the next decade or two is AI. And so the thing is, as much as AI is being incorporated into our industry, the first thing that or the people who face the brunt of it are basically designers. So you would have seen how chat GPTs have taken into content writing and things like that. And so the first thing when it comes to designs and things to do with when AI is being incorporated is the consultants. So I would like to hear from Selvin as to how you want to take this whole AI thing getting into the industry as such.
Right. So with AI, we see that AI can improve an existing product. Maybe you're already working with mics and speakers, okay? And it's a massive 30 kilo box or 50 kilo box, and it can do something. You can improve the efficiency by having AI process that and make it better. And we see a small use of that already in the market, okay? At the moment, I can see microphones which are clever enough to block background noise. And that is just a simple code which was doing machine learning and be able to read the noise and be able to block it finally, okay? So as you see, maybe, I mean, you have a massive car out there and then it's probably a 1-ton car and you don't need that much. I mean, you could achieve the same thing with a lesser weight and all that. So you can improve the same product to be as strong as possible and be able to do what's supposed to do. So we are going to see these things getting implemented in our AV world now. I mean, 20 years ago, we were doing AV designs which at least had maybe 30 line items. And now it has come down to 5. Like there's a PC which can do almost a lot of things. You have a mic, you have a speaker, and you're done with that. Or maybe a touch panel. So we see that these things are going to be the next trend out there.
That's nice. That's nice. So you're saying there's not going to be much of a threat, but it's going to be more of a collaboration with the AI as such. Okay. So I'm going to leave the integration segment for now. I'm quickly going to go into say from the user perspective. So let's have a very open conversation or a discussion on this. I thought I will just quickly fire it right at you with the AI. So would you trust a consultant-based design or an AI-based design as an end user?
Yeah, of course we will trust consultants. Okay, so I think they are the bridge between the OEM and the end users. So not if you ask me, only few of them are knowledgeable with the audio technique and technology with other stuffs. Okay, so definitely we need consultants, we need integrators. So we will trust them anyway.
Thank you, Karthik. So that sort of gives some sort of confidence into AI into the next 10 years or so, or even beyond that. So why I jumped the guns to move into the end user is because I'm coming to you, Sachin. So the thing is, it needs the whole industry to adapt it. It cannot be like you cannot just be a part of it, or or else you are going to miss the bus. So as an integrator, as someone who does things on site, as someone who's going to be implementing or doing the projects, so where do you think that this AI, right from, okay, this is something that has been accepted, say by the consultants, say by the manufacturer, and say by the end user. So where do you think the integration segment is going to play a role accepting the whole AI as such?
First of all, yes, AI would be the future of the technology, which is already slowly getting implemented. So from the end user perspective also, AI has played a major role, because earlier when we used to see boardrooms, there is a lot of products like cameras, and to manage those cameras as autofocus, we used to have microphones and then program it, because for integrator, it would be a big job because a lot of time spent. But being AI introduced, what is the major boon we got is now everything is become plug and play. Our job is simplified as an integrator. right? So that's how the things are getting adopted. And when it comes to bigger boardrooms, like large event spaces, where AI really doesn't work, like for example, event spaces, like auditoriums, where in which still AI is not emerged for those spaces. Definitely we have to again depend upon the regular methods and make it happen, because AV is already, always a tailor-made solution. It's been never a box solution where in which you'll just come and plug and play the solution and leave it. So that's why the consultant plays a major role and manufacturer plays a major role, where in which evolving with the technologies. Yes, I do agree with everyone. AI has to be adapted. Yes, AI helped us as an integration also, because see, there are a lot of AI tools available now for testing as well. Once we integrate the entire solution, be it like this. See, earlier what we used to do, we used to depend upon pink noise generators or white noise generators and generate the report and give it, and now done. So now even the fluke test generator also has come up with an AI tool, wherein which it will exactly tell you the proper reports, even the bandwidth losses. All these things we can now generate, and we can be more precise with AI coming into picture. It's not only in the manufacturer segment, but also it will help in the testing segment as well.
That's great. So good to hear various perspectives, because AI still, which is being debated as both an advantage and also a threat to different industries. So I think on this common platform, all of us have accepted that we have to coexist with AI, and at some point we need to co-live with it. So on that perspective, again, I'll go back to the manufacturer again, because that's where again. So based on this AI that we have also seeing what the next 10 years or 20 years are going to look like. Of course, the audience is here. They want to know what's happening or inside news, say from a manufacturer perspective. So how are your product offerings changed in adapting into this whole AI, or what's going to happen for the next 10 years? As your product offerings, has it been changed, or are we sticking to some of the fundamentals, or are we sticking to some of the age-old techniques, or is it being futuristic to adapt AI into the whole thing? So anyone among the manufacturer who want to start?
I remember the very first post on Facebook I was tagged in 2008 was saying that every technology that is good enough, it can look a little bit like magic. And this is what I think about AI and general machine learning and the kind of evolution that may happen. I think that it will be an improvement, it will be part of a tool set, but I don't personally see the audio industry revolving in, like having a revolution based on the use of artificial intelligence. It's just another tool, a better tool probably. We can automate it processes, we can do things in an easier way, we can, I don't know, have AI generated feedback killer or whatever, but I don't think this is the main focus in terms of the experience that we want to provide. These are the tools, but what we want is to create a different experience. Then AI and other tools can make it easier to achieve, can make it cheaper, can make it better, but overall, and the background is still the imagination, and it's still the capability of, okay, what can we do next? How can I impress you? How can I make you more comfortable? And then I can use tools. And the AI is not different than the piece of cardboard that is inside the speaker and moves the air. So I'd like to think of it as much as networking, as much as other things that we have been witnessing in the past. It's not the core of our proposal. Our proposal should be based on the kind of experience that we want to provide, and we want to make it possible.
Thank you. Yeah.
So, just going to jump straight in. That one instead. Okay. Do you want that one? No, thank you. Make it work for me, please, Andrea. Just to back up what he was saying, It is just another tool, and I think the AI is going to make more of a difference potentially to the end user more than the other parts of the chain, if you like, because it empowers them to have better knowledge themselves, make those decisions. Because we could make what we consider to be the best product in the world. It could be specified by the consultants. It could be installed by the SIs, supplied through the chain. If the end user doesn't want it, we're all sort of wasting our time. So they're the ones who open the checkbooks first, basically. And I am showing my age by referring to checkbooks. But don't laugh, you're nearly as old as me. Coming up with your question about what do we see happening in the market, we have to be asking the market what it wants. And again, this goes back to the end user. It's all very well us looking into the crystal ball and imagining what we think is going to be needed tomorrow. If we launch a product that's not required, it just doesn't sell. Alternatively, you launch products that you think can be used in one particular application, and the market goes, no, we want to do that over here. And as manufacturers, originally, we're like, no, we've designed it to do just this, and that's it. And the market goes, but we'll sell a lot more of it if you let us do this on it. So we have to bend and listen to the market, whether it's a new product coming out or whether it's something that's existing and we just found a new way of using it. For those who were in the boardroom setup we did in there, we showed very quickly that 4 or 5 different solutions to basically, just, at the end of the day, just get the best audio. I mean, it's just different form factors, and it's giving the market that choice of what they want. So we need to keep evolving, giving those options so they can get the best solution for them. And what works today might not work tomorrow, but it should therefore be scalable and flexible and allow people to chop and change as they require.
That's a great perspective, Anthony. So I think the discussion is moving or pointing again towards the end user in terms of what they need. So let's keep the ball rolling. So the manufacturers are ready to what the end user needs are. So I'll come back to Karthik. So how has your preferences or things changed in this last 5 years as a user, say in terms of your preferences, in terms of what you need? Have you taken that approach towards what is futuristic, or are you, say in a sense, playing safe with whatever that we have already?
See, last 5 years was a very difficult phase, in terms of getting the COVID. We are coming out of the COVID, and so and the dynamic of the business and the how the meeting used to happen previously, and the as usual, but the way it was conducted before and the way it was conducted after COVID, it was truly a dramatic change. So that there is a remote call, and then every user taking the call in remotely, and they are using headset, and then so all of a sudden we have introduction for the all-in-one sound bars, and all these things we have to bridge the platform. Okay, so offline and online together we have to cater the user needs. So it's a dramatic change. If you ask me, it's a fast change.
Okay. So that way, the end user has moved more into the hybrid scenario right now, wanting different solutions. So which is good for manufacturers as such, because as many products as we have in the market, and that is what every manufacturer needs. So now, so that brings to the point where the integrators comes into play, because they are the people who again give all these hybrid solutions, make sure that they are in place, and every demand or every challenge gives you a lot of different perspectives. So in this last 5 years, from the integration segment, how has it changed things? So end user, they have moved into more of a hybrid model, and they are looking into different solutions. So as an integrator, how are you able to address to all of it, say on the site and on the projects?
So as Karthik rightly said, there is a drastic change post-COVID. What AV was earlier was nowhere now. So AV has been totally changed. The face of AV has been changed completely, because earlier what used to happen is meeting means It's a meeting spaces where everyone used to sit face to face. And most probably, like 60 to 70% displays are used for local presentations. Now, even in mobiles also now, we are joining the Teams calls. So that's how the life has been changed. So we are traveling on the go, we'll finish 3-4 meetings and then we'll join 4th meeting. So that's how I would say that COVID has taught us a lot. Yes, there is a losses also, but we had gained a lot of good knowledge out of COVID has taught us. So with that perspective, yes, being a system integrator, two things has majorly been changed for us. So one major change is, so we should more now concentrate while installing is speech intelligibility. Whenever we install anything, the first thing we should address is speech intelligibility. It was not so serious earlier, because earlier used to, yes, because any of local presentations or local town halls used to happen, the town halls which are attended remotely, like it was okay. But now, because adopting the hybrid solution, the remote participants are more important compared to anything, because the speech intelligibility has given a more and more this one. So as a AI perspective, so most of the DSPs would support this as AI for speech intelligibility, which has made our life really easy as a integrator perspective. And secondly, what happens is when it comes to meeting spaces, like bigger meeting spaces of 20-25 seaters also, we just come plug in the video bars which are catering the entire room. It has got acoustic fencing inside and all the technology which is built into it, and it can cater anything and everything. So that's how where the technology is advancing and it is making more simplified as well. So that's how we can make the projects turn to life as faster as possible compared to earlier days. Because earlier days we used to sit and fiddle around with the DSPs for longer time in order to tune up and all. But now that is not there. 50% job is already done by AI.
Thank you, Sachin. So again, we have spoken about what's happened on the 5 years. So the end user wants more solutions or different hybrid solutions, and the manufacturer is ready to give you that, and also the integrator is also ready to have them on site without challenges. And now, once the end user wants more solution, it's where the consultants comes into play, and the consultant is where they are put to test when it comes to different solutions. And especially in the last 5 years, it has not been easy, like what Karthik rightly said. So how has the things changed in the consultation segment, Selvin, for you as a challenge, or in terms of the designs which have been evolving? So how has it been from the consultant perspective?
I think the client's needs are the same. They are designing multimedia rooms for presentation, audio conference and video conference. For us, the number of boxes, as we said, have reduced further down. We can do it with less number of units now. I mean, right now the customer has more visibility of what better quality is or better sounding system is. They have more options, like, I mean, somebody will pick up an AirPod and say, oh, it sounds like it should sound something like as good as this. And so they are aware of quality, and then now they are expecting the same to perform in the large spaces out there. So now the expectation from the clients has become better, and now that is a boost for us to give them the right solution which works for them thereafter.
Perfect. Thank you, Selvin. So now I think it's more of very easy things that we have discussed. So probably we'll get into a little more serious side of things, or what say as each of them in their own industry or in their own vertical phase. So I'll start with the integrator. So I'm going to make it difficult for Sachin. So where in this whole chain, say in terms of say the trends. So you have seen the trends which are changing, right? So you have told me that AI is something that is changing things. It has helped you, and in this last 5 years, things have changed in terms of design. We have adapted to it. We have had challenges. So it takes all 5 of you to execute a complete project. Yeah. So where in this whole chain, with all of these design changes and everything, that you as an integrator have a challenge?
Okay. That's a tricky question to answer.
Where don't you have a challenge?
Okay. So basically, yes, challenges do arise. It's part and parcel of AV when it comes to integration. So especially, see, nowadays, client demands are very much streamlined and it's very clear. So we want proper video and a proper audio. That means it should be properly heard and properly seen. So as a challenge per se, if you ask me, yes, while executing projects like especially multi-purpose halls where acoustics will be less. And we use, as you are telling, the point source, different line arrays we'll use there. So there are a lot of challenges of reverberation, wherein which definitely consultants do help us at that time. We work together in order to do minor changes to adapt to that situations. But now these challenges have drastically reduced. The main reason for this is there are a lot of simulation tools which has been come. So before implementing only, we'll come to know that whether this is going to work or not work. That's a major boon from the manufacturers, which along with their products, they are releasing this simulation tools, which is really helpful, and it had helped us to overcome those challenges on the meeting of the customer expectations. Yes.
Yeah, thank you, Sachin. So that's probably the most diplomatic way to put it. And so when I asked Sachin about what are the challenges, he spoke about how we overcome the challenges. So I'm going to pass the mic on to each one on the panel to. So we have changed as an industry in this last 10 years or 5 years. So Sachin has spoken about the challenges and also overcoming challenges. So then let's go in the order. So Anthony, so where do you feel the challenge? And in terms of the projects and where do you feel a challenge in this whole chain to execute the project?
Expectation was mentioned just now. And I think as the end user gets more and more powerful and they have a better idea of what they want, that's fantastic. It's then sometimes the challenge is managing that expectation as to what is realistic. So we all see something, think, that's exactly what I want, I know what I'm talking about. And they come in with a preconceived idea. And most of the time that could be correct. You know, a lot of these big enterprise accounts, you know, they have a very good idea, they know what they want globally all around the world, they've got standards, it's replicated, whether it's in head office or it's the other side of the world. And that's great. And that makes the life easy for everybody. The consultant is still required to ensure that it does work in each location. The integrator is still required to put it in place. And obviously the manufacturers still need to be involved with their feedback to make sure that everyone gets the right product. But sometimes when people expect something and you don't deliver it, and I'm going to give an example. So 2 or 3 weeks ago, we were with a regional regulator, and we were talking about the sell-off of the wireless spectrum. And we had some new product that we were going to show them. We've just launched some new Accent Digital PSM, so some in-ear monitoring system, and it's fantastic, and we're very excited about it and can't wait to get it here for everyone to see as well. And they talked to us about, well, we want to sell off the 600 megahertz. And obviously that's going to affect your wireless systems you're using. It wasn't in India, don't freak out, it's okay, it was somewhere else. And then we showed them the ADPSM and they were like, yeah, it's really good, but we wanted something different. And what it is they wanted us to create something that allowed us to operate in a completely different part of the spectrum so they could sell off the 600 megahertz and not feel guilty. So then they could make all their billions of dollars they were going to get by selling it to the mobile phone companies, and they wanted us to solve the problem for them. We try and do that as an industry. We try and manufacture stuff that helps provide solutions to problems. You know, everything we do should be around, there's a need for the end user, the consultant needs something to help an end user, the SIs have got to install something, it's got to work with other things as well, like screens and so on, occasionally. We try to create solutions, but if someone wants something just as a wish, sometimes that can be a challenge in that it's trying to anticipate what they need next and come up with stuff that sorts that. And now I'm putting the pressure back on you.
That's a nice way to put it, Anthony. So So yes, so I want to hear from everyone on the panel. So Andrea, over to you. So,
You brought back some good memories for me. I heard someone was mentioning acoustics, and for a pure sound company like Mayer, that's definitely one point that we struggle with sometimes, clarifying expectations. Like, you can't make miracles. If a place has a certain reverberation time, you can't absorb reverberation without a physical intervention of a space, while you can do the opposite. So bring a dead space to life. And this is nowadays possible, but that requires, and this is my personal challenge, one of the challenges I see, is like it's a matter of timing. So as long as we or someone on our behalf gets involved in the project in the right time, everything is easy, relatively affordable, and simple. Coming into a project when it's too late, that's making things expensive, complicated, challenging. So I'd say that going back again to AI, I think that this is a very human thing, actually. Interaction, relations, trust, belief. These are the challenges humanity has been dealing with for a while, and I don't think this is going to change. You can see it from different perspectives, but in the end, it's always the same thing. If we can talk, if we can understand each other, then we can find a solution. Sometimes, and I know the challenge Anton was talking about directly, sometimes it's harder to accept that, yeah, mobile devices are simply taking over, that we want or not, and we are pushed towards a new limit, and this is something we need to accept and we need to embrace, to provide a solution that at the moment doesn't exist. And we both are living in a place where a solution to a solution that is not yet there is common. And I take two examples. They decided to build the tallest building in the world. They succeeded. Burj Khalifa is very much standing, very solid. And, but before they built it, no one ever did anything like that. And then they tried to do something else, the biggest turning wheel in the world. It didn't work. It simply didn't work. So this is, again, can we trust that the engineers did their best and simply they failed? Can we accept failure, and can we fix things along the way? These are the challenges we face, and again, the more we go into technology, and the more I think we go back to the very basic human roots of our job.
for sure, Andrea, I'm pretty sure the LED wall did not get fixed by AI, it got fixed by a human now. So that's where we are at. So over to Selvin. So Selvin, your thoughts?
Right. When you're deploying multimedia rooms or town halls to clients, there are a lot of visible elements that you can work upon. You can put the best speakers, the best mics and all that. But then there are a lot of invisible elements when nobody knows why it's sounding good. I mean, this room sounds good at the moment because there's some level of absorption at the back, and the invisible element, that's the acoustics, and the invisible, the lighting, the color and all that matters when you wouldn't want to get the designs right. Now, there are different people who have different interpretation of acoustics also. I mean, let's take an example of you being able to get the complete curve of the room right out there, okay? And maybe some certain acoustician says that, well, the low end is not important, we just treat the top end, okay? And not fix the bottom. And these are my challenges, because you need the whole thing to be right for the room to work. But then, I mean, at the moment, we've been finding challenges to deploy good systems out there where maybe somebody thinks that the interpretation of doing acoustics is only fix partially the room, but not completely. So we look at OEMs to, at some point, do their part, be able to also be able to communicate that to the end users and maybe the integrators or the people or stakeholders, so that they wouldn't also consider these things to be equally important.
Yes, definitely. So that's a good point to touch base, Selvin, because that is something that which is still like a bigger discussion within the industry. That acoustics and the design are two separate elements that we need to be concentrating on. And you can have the best of the designs and have bad acoustics, which can take your design for a toss. And also to give you this thing, since you touched base on this space, the space that in terms of everything that we had on papers were different, and when we landed on site, it was different. So that's how it is. And sometimes when we try to do all the best that we can, and then we make, and that's where the project team and the consultants and people come back together to make the project successful. So thank you, Selvin. So that comes back again to the end user. So Karthik, so they have all said all the challenges. So now it's your turn to.
See, as an end user, we have multiple challenges. Okay, so we can't stop at one place. So if you ask me, it could be a single user or MD, or the CEO, or in a group of people in an auditorium. So the event should go smoothly wherever it is. So what is designed, what are the tools we are using, so that should work. And otherwise, so it will be a bad remark on us, so that, we are not delivering the perfect solution. So it's a stress going through each and every day, So, yeah, so basically, looking at the OEMs, okay, they are doing a good product, okay, and also the consultant and integrator are, giving us the good solutions. So together, we are achieving. But what is needed is, I think more education from the OEMs and consultant for the integrators, needed, and also for the end users. So education has to be, acquired and learned. So
Perfect.
That's the thing.
That's probably where we are all headed in terms of educating the whole market, in terms of getting the right information across, and also what needs to be said, and sort of having. So it always starts from the manufacturer with the correct information, but when it goes all the way to the end user, what happens is like a Chinese whisper. By the time it reaches the end user, or by the time it reaches the decision maker, or so that's a nice way to put it, Karthik. You need the right information and the education to make sure that things are done. So I think we have almost discussed what we have, what we had in the past, and what's for the future, say in terms of AI and everything. So it's almost time to wrap it up. But before we wrap it up, from each of you, I just want one takeaway. Okay, one takeaway from this, the whole thing for the industry that you want to share, or you want to discuss. Okay, these are the things that can be looked into, and this can bring a better future for the industry. So if each of you can just share one thing, so that the audience and each of us who have been listening to us can go back with a thought that they can think about, and see if we can all grow together. So again, I'll start this way from Karthik.
One takeaway, I think this event is good right now. It's fabulous. I think we have seen, the multi-purpose room, and then other rooms here. So I don't know what to say, but yeah.
Okay, thank you, Karthik. Selvin.
Right. I mean, Neeraj managed to get a nice group of people, which includes AV integrators, manufacturers, OEMs also. And we encourage, we have the clients also in this, in the audience today. We literally want the clients to interact with the OEM, manufacturers to interact with the customers. Every client's requirement is different. It is not just a meeting room. The nature of the business is different. So a banking client compared to maybe a gaming client would have different needs. And one tool does not fit all of them. okay? And in this forum, maybe you get to interact with them and fix their issues.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you, Selvin. Andrea.
My takeaway would be stop being diplomatic. Communicate. There is no point. Communicate openly. Make clear your requirement. And don't be scared sometimes of saying, yeah, lovely, but with this budget, we can't build the pyramids. We can build a garden. And on the other side, be ready to accept that someone tells you, yeah, lovely solution, but it's not what I want. Listen and communicate and listen, for me, is the key to move on. And yeah, diplomacy is just something in the way that doesn't help.
Perfect. Thank you.
Don't be diplomatic. From the man wearing socks from my competing brand. Have you seen his socks? Sennheiser. Thank you very much, friend. One takeaway, co-opetition. And what I mean by that is there's going to be a lot more integration between different manufacturers and OEMs. It's taking place now all the time. In some ways we're competing against each other. In some ways we're working together so the end user gets the complete solution they're looking for. And I look at some of the technology partners that Shure is dealing with. In some rooms, it could be that they've got an all-in-one bar that we don't, and so they are, we're competing in that space with them. In the bigger spaces, they come to us and ask us to help them with the audio side of things. We've got some camera set up for working here. We're working alongside, various different camera or traditionally video and control companies, and using the audio from our side and their elements to make sure the end user gets the complete solution. Of course, we're biased. We think audio is most important, but we all have to play together so that the total package is there. So I think there's going to be more and more of that. There's going to be more merging of ideas. We're probably all going to end up stepping on each other's toes more. We did that a while ago and we started coming up with our own DSP. Some people didn't like it. We're only doing DSP for our microphones. We're not trying to control everything else. I think the market is going to carry on going that way. I don't think any of us want to be or claim to be the masters of everything. You don't want to be a jack of all trades and the master of none. You don't want to. There's always a space for specialists in certain areas. But 2 or 3 times on this conversation just now, we've had talk about the all-in-one bar. The all-in-one bar is great for a certain area, a certain size of room. Beyond that, you need to start having more integrated solutions so that everyone in the room gets the same, not just those sitting closest to the wall, to the bar. That's just, again, it's an audio example. But so, I think there's going to be a lot more merging and basically pinching of ideas to be non-diplomatic. And I think that's a good thing, because at the end of the day, the end user is going to get what they want, and they will decide where we all end up going. And we have to create solutions that everyone wants to have in their boardrooms, in their classrooms, in their wherever government spaces, wherever else it may be. And we need, like it or not, we need these different parts of the chain: the manufacturers, the consultants, the distribution channel, the end users, the SIs. Our roles may change in the next 10 years slightly, but we'll still all be there, maybe in a slightly different way. Now, whether that's through AI or just general evolution, we'll find out. But hopefully we'll still have jobs in a couple of years' time. I don't know.
Thank you. Thank you, Anthony.
Except you.
Sachin.
I hope so.
Entire AV industry exists because of the end user needs, right? As on when end user needs are evolving, yes, manufacturers are catering it because consultants are designing the solutions and system integrators are integrating the solutions. So the entire industry stands on one major factor, that is requirement of the client and need of the client. So that has to be catered always well. So that's why we always call it as the AV industry as a tailor-made solution. It's not the box plug-and-play solution wherein which one stop can solve everything. That had never happened. So that's why the major takeaway from this is because I can see there are so many collaborations happening in this. That's a beautiful thing, good to know. It's not about one brand. It's about the technology, how we cater to the end user needs. See, ultimate goal is to meet the end user needs and give a user-friendly solutions. So that's a major takeaway from this, which I would like to suggest. Thank you.
Thank you, Sachin. So that is more to do with everything that they shared. Great insights from the people who have been in the industry, who have been driving this industry for all these many years. So that was more to do with the discussion, but the most interesting part comes now. So there's going to be a 10 minutes of open house Q&A. Okay, not every other day that you will have all of these people on the same platform where you get to ask the questions. So so let's do a 10-minute of an open house Q&A. If people there, I know people from all streams of the AV industry are here. If there is something specific, so there'll be our person with our cordless mic. So if you can just raise a hand, you can shoot out a question to anyone here on the panel. So that will be for 10 minutes. So if you want to hear more from them, you are open to do that. So please raise your hands if you have any questions, so that we can have any of the panelists address that. So this just feels the whole industry is in complete harmony. So that's not true. So everyone, so yes, so there's a question from.
Good evening. This question is to the OEM. If we are talking about AI all this while, so to far extent you said adapting to AI is important to stay on the technology base. Other side you said AI cannot completely drive. We need human intervention. So the question here is, how far can you get integrated into AI without giving up human talent and skills? Because now if this entire system has to be rigged up, system engineered, mixed, you need 3 or 4 sets of skills involved in this. How far are you going to integrate AI to simplify without losing the skill and talent? Hope you understood.
So who wants to go for it? Anthony? Andrea?
It's hard to answer because I left the field since few years, but I like to see AI as another tool. Bigger, smaller, it's yet to be seen, because for the time being, the application of AI that I see in audio are still somehow limited. Okay, yeah, there is some noise reduction that is AI-based, but in general, I don't see system engineering made by AI, and I don't see it on a big scale as much as I don't see it in a smaller scale. And the reason is that there are so much philosophical and political decisions to be taken that AI will give me a base that I work on. So I don't think technology is going to take away our job. What I see is that we won't be relevant if we can't use AI. So I'm not saying AI is not important. AI is important as a tool. So for me, I write emails 100 times faster if I use AI. But in the end, I have to decide what I want to say. And possibly I need to have something to say. And I think this is valid for many jobs in our industry. So AI is a tool, we need to use it, because otherwise we get left behind. But I don't see AI taking the place of a system designer, of a system engineer. I think the two roles are not competing in a way. It's just another tool that we need to be able to use. Please correct me if you feel differently.
Thank you, Andrea. Are there any other questions on the floor? Yes, Sophie.
The question to Mr. Anthony, sir.